Hi friends, so I'm going to be just showing, I won't be showing my face because I'm just showing decks today. I wanted to show the actual, what I was talking about when I just kind of rambled without showing any decks last time I posted. So I will explain everything going on in this video. This is to find this was a very long rabbit hole of watching videos and hearing about different things, but this is a copy of tarocchi. 15th century tarocchi, that's all it says in terms of the date. There are other ones that are exactly dated for when their reproductions from. But so the reason I got this one, the Carrie Yale Visconti tarocchi, I love this box. It's like amazing, like, you know, I don't know. But I got this one because there is controversy about how many cards are supposed to be in the tarocchi game. And so there are like editions where like they were fighting about like the number of cards that are supposed to be there. And then they were omitted from certain editions, and I can't remember all the names of all. This was one of the first things I researched, so I don't remember like the names of the other editions and like how many cards they took out and stuff like that. But this Carrie Yale Visconti edition has, I think, I just looked and I think it says 86 cards, so we're gonna go with it. But basically, long story short, it has the most cards, the most potential cards, because a lot of the other editions took cards out. And this is a huge box. Like, this is how big the cards really are. So I don't really like take this. This is just in a place of honor on my bookshelf. Because like I don't really have anyone to like learn how to play tarocchi with or anything like that. And it's more just I've just been like, oh, they preserved. Oh, that was my heat. It's off now. We just had like a little, almost like a little hurricane in my area. So it was freezing. It was like winter. But the rain is dying down right now. But anyway, so I wanted to do this video as a distraction from that. And because in my last video I didn't show any decks, but the last package I was waiting for did get to my house, so now I can show, like, I'm not going to get into Marseille yet because I have to still research. I have Marseille decks, but I'm still learning the system, and I'm still researching in terms of the historical decks and stuff like that. But these are the decks I have that came out. It's proof that tarot came from card games. So anyway, so then I didn't know. So I just thought everything was from tarocchi. That's what I just assumed. And then I found out about this other game. Which here's one of my decks from Lo Scarabeo, they're in Europe and they're distributed through Llewellyn in the United States where I am. But this is Minchiate, which I was like, oh my or Minchiate. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce, even though I took Italian, but I believe it would be Minchiate. But since it's from, literally it says 1775, I'm not totally sure. But I got from Lo Scarabeo 2 editions of Minchiate, because even though they're both from Italy, one is from Florence and one is from this other region of Italy, I guess Alcigno. And I know I sound ignorant, I apologize, but I haven't even gotten into so 2 things that I do know about Minchiate is it adds zodiac signs and virtues. And I learned this because they made a new one, which I didn't bring. Oh, I did bring it over here. Hold on one moment. Well, it's huge. So it's huge because it's 100 cards and it's a split deck. I'm not gonna show that one. It's not really a historical deck in the sense that it's based on Minchiate, but the art is like Family Guy or The Simpsons or whatever. So it is a little cheesy, but I wanted it because Minchiate has 97 cards, but it has, like, I believe 4 virtues. So the virtues were part of the game. And the current one, which was based on Minchiate, is 100 cards, and he added all 7 virtues and some cards that are sometimes excluded from Minchiate. So I was like, well, obviously I want 100 cards, and but it is cheesy, sort of cheesy art. There are flip throughs around. And in terms of these boxes, they are still in shrink wrap because, as I said, I don't have a place for all of these historical decks together quite yet because this one takes up a lot of shelf space and it was in a specific spot of honor. But I'm probably going to put all my historical decks together. But I can show you that this top-down box this type of top-down box is still a 2-part box, but not the one that is super common in the United States. There's, I have 2 decks that are not from Lo Scarabeo, and they use the top-down box, but I'll just demonstrate. This is also Lo Scarabeo, just a modern deck. Oh my god, I am obsessed with it. But it just, it's like this, and these cards happen to be gilded, so you can see a little shine in there. A little bit of the shine. But yeah, so this type of top-down box, it goes like this. Basically. And at first I was like a little bit nervous about top-down boxes because they're not all created equal, but and sometimes you can feel like you're about to lose all the cards. But I like the ones from Lo Scarabeo, so I was like, ooh, 2 of them in. This is from a specific line they have of historical decks, which they refer to as a philological reproduction, which basically means it's a historical reproduction of, like, an ancient deck. And they have, I believe they're in this line of their, I cannot remember the exact product line, But like if you search for Minchiate, Lo Scarabeo, you'll find it, and you'll find what the product line is, and I think they have about 8 decks that are like their historical line. And in that vein, I got this toward the beginning. Hold on a second. I got, this one is a little confusing because it's listed with, so it's just called Ancient Italian Tarot. It's not a reproduction of like a historical deck, but like in that it's not dated like a specific date. Because the dates are usually associated with a specific artist. And this is just kind of like a less formal, maybe not even a reproduction. But this was listed among decks that would be based on Marseille. So I guess that basically, although, and also this is this deck happens to be 78 cards. Right now, my historical decks are not opened. Like, anything that comes in a tuck box, I have to find a different way to store it for my own accessibility. Some people don't even keep the boxes because they have to store it a different way, and they use like a, this is blurry, so let me put this down. But yeah, so it just says Ancient Italian Tarot, but the reason that I got it was that it said that it was like based on Marseille. So I guess, there is overlap. And then I wasn't ready to study Marseille yet. I am now studying Marseille, and I will make a separate video on Marseille when I understand what I'm talking about related to that. Marseille, some people are uncomfortable reading a pip deck, and basically Marseille is a pip deck, and it's also basically the system that is closest to like modern day playing cards, but I have some beautiful Marseilles. I will do a separate video on that. And then I have one more to show. So, after these games were popularized and everyone was... I have another deck. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me figure out how to show this. So I have another deck. This is the, I'm gonna have to put this down. One moment. It's too blurry, so I'm trying my best. It's still in shrink wrap because there is no box. I got it from Make Playing Cards, and I'm sorry for the blur that it won't focus. I got this from Make Playing Cards, and it just came in shrink wrap with no box. So I'm going to have to also I'm going to have to buy some tarot bags and get these decks that are this kind of situation into tarot bags, so I have somewhere to store these. So that's why they are not this is gonna stay in shrink until I have a bag for it. But basically this is the first deck where someone who's it's called the Etteilla, I guess. But basically, he had the idea of the existing games. I believe hold on, sorry. I believe mostly tarocchi, but I don't know. It's confusing because I don't know exactly what influenced him, because one of the features of this deck is that he added the zodiacs, and it also sort of resembles like a Kipper or a Lenormand deck because of things that he added, because they were like just sort of real life scenarios had cards. So it is interesting, but it's like the first time that he was like, let's take these games and actually use them for divination. And I had to wait for this from make playing cards. So that was what I was waiting for when I made my last video, and I wasn't ready to show my historical decks. And I found out about that one from Hermit's Cave. I love Hermit's Cave. Simon at Hermit's Cave. He's just got really like calming videos, and I learn a lot from him. He's been doing this a lot longer than I have, in a good way. And I also, at the same time I got this deck, I did get a pocket Toth deck, but since that is all kinds of like controversial and I'm not studying it yet, I'm not showing that deck in this video because it's not really a historical deck. It's like a reproduction of the Greenie. It's really nice. So that is the last tarot package that I got and what I was waiting for when I made my last video. And so now that you have seen these actual games that were... Oh, and another deck that I have from Lo Scarabeo, they have a different one that is more like, I don't know what they call it, but they do have a specific one that is a blend of RWS and Marseille, and that's a separate deck, and I have it somewhere, but it's like, I know it's in a drawer right now, not in a bad way, but I'm not sure exactly how I would have to dig that out. That would take a while. But they also have like so they have like sort of like a fusion deck that is, it has Marseille influence and RWS influence. They sort of tried to combine. So that's kind of why this one also seems like a little bit of fusion, because it's listed as a Marseille deck, but then it's said to be so tied to the ancient Italian tradition. So, there's overlap. It's very interesting. It's rabbit holes that you could research. I mean, I did a lot of, I may sound like I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm not a tarot scholar, but I did. Oh, and you can see behind this, these are my, some of my witchy supplies. But, yeah. So I'm not like a tarot scholar or anything. This is like still, to explain this stuff, I did a lot of research. I have other decks that are like ascribed to specific artists at specific years, and stuff like that, but they're not quite like this because I have them, but I haven't dug into that because that's just like when like a specific artist gets more known, and this is more like a reproduction of like specific sort of like games and playing cards. And like I said, I will address more of this when I do my video on Marseille, because Marseille is the closest to what we use as a standard deck of playing cards. It is more cards, but it's still the closest, like, currently used tarot decks that are very close to playing cards. So anyway, here's my pictorial evidence that tarot came from European card games. And you can also read playing cards, and I want to learn to read playing cards, but I haven't started that yet. But I will. You can either extrapolate that from Lenormand or Marseille fairly easily, because Lenormand sometimes has playing card correspondences, but it's not a complete set in terms of that, because there's only 36 Lenormand cards. So it's not like a one-to-one comparison with playing cards. And so, yeah. But anyway, that's the rabbit hole I went down the last few months to collect these, but like in a knowledgeable way. And although for the Carrie Yale Visconti tarocchi deck over here, I did that first, and that was a whole separate original. That was my first real research project into the historical decks, and I didn't go further with that for, I don't know, like at least a year, around a year. Getting these that I just finished, getting, because I got the last package, that was kind of like around a 2-month research project more recently. So I hope I'm sorry for my camera work. It's just my phone and my hands do shake. But I hope this was informative, and I'm hoping to have this posted it is Friday in the wee hours right now. But I'm hoping to have this posted for Monday. So hopefully this will go out Monday at our usual time, which for me is noon Eastern. And I'll try to get that set up. Or I might go with Tuesday noon because of timing stuff with the beginning of the month. And I hope this was educational and interesting. I know I didn't show the cards. They're like too precious. They're too precious. Like, I don't have spots for all of these yet. So I'm not even, I have decks I haven't even dug into yet. But especially the Etteilla, I don't want to open it. This one, I don't want to open it because it doesn't have any box. So that's like part of my motivation, and it was like kind of a saga to get that particular deck, but it ended well. So anyway, I hope this was informative, and I will see you again soon.